you for tuning in. I'm Monica Martini, a human just as lost as you. I'm here to talk and reflect, so come, join me, have a sit. This is the second episode of the podcast, and it's all about being average. Average looking, average career, success, average life. Is it a bad thing? Are we promoting laziness? Or are we merely unable to feel contentment? Well, it all started with the most annoying/genius thing start. My hit. It is just me, or are we living in an era of extremes? Like, we either excel at whatever we're doing, whether that be school, sports, college, jobs, side hustle, relationships, family finances, you name it. Or we are doomed to feel like losers, labeled as sheep, complacent, lazy, hunger-deprived individuals. You know, go big or go home. Well, what if I just want to take a walk in the park? In all seriousness, I've been on both ends of the spectrum, being the one that gets completely overlooked and unacknowledged, and the one who gets praised for being different and extraordinarily gifted. Spoiler alert, I'm not. Being average means being normal, typical, not out of the ordinary, according to the dictionary, I mean. However, we humans are designed to want more, to go after, and to build anew. And with this entered the two sides of happiness, eudaimonic happiness and hedonic happiness. So according to Aristotle, to achieve happiness, one should live their life in accordance with their virtues. He claimed people are constantly striving to meet their potential and be their best selves, which leads to great purpose and meaning. So we, quote unquote, are in pursuit of fulfilling our potential. That way we find more meaning and purpose in life. And this would be the definition of hedonic happiness. However, we have also the hedonic happiness that actually has as an ultimate goal in life to maximize pleasure. Pleasures of both the mind and the body. In this view, happiness involves maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain. So according to the NCBI journal in their study, The Neuroscience of Happiness and Pleasure, identification of hedonic substrates has been advanced by recognizing that pleasure or liking is but one component in the large composite psychological process of reward, which also involves wanting and learning components. You see where this is going. Meaning we all naturally have this insatiable hunger for more, where contentment is hard to achieve, and being average ignites the itch of the possibility of being more. Therefore, being average sucks. Well, I gather some points in favor of this. Let's get into them. We get caught up in this limbo of wanting more, which is in our nature, and looking for pleasurable times and relaxation, therefore remaining average. Being average as being banned from today's society. We either listen to the best of the best or the worst of the worst, and that's just how it is. We engage in the drama, the validation or canceling, the subservience to spiritual or tech gurus, the idolizing of celebrities, and the bashing of degenerates. We do it all, we live for it. And yet, we're the ones left with a pit of emptiness inside because we're just not that. We live pretty normal lives, work regular jobs, and on top of everything, also deal with the search for meaning and belonging. Most of us can't afford, literally, to pursue creative endeavors and try new careers. Most of us do not even have careers. We have jobs. And that's honorable. Let me explain why. So, some points against the fact that being average sucks would be the following that I gathered. So, number one would actually be the fact that there's no such thing as being gifted. So Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Michael Phelps, the top chess players of all time, the best writers, all this so-called born with it, quote unquote, have actually been proven to be normal. Einstein's brain? Normal. So what is it? Am I just bullshitting you? Well, no, there's actually several studies on this. In one of the recent books that I've read, named Bounce, this is actually explored in depth. So it's all about the 10,000 hour rule. Any human needs an average of 10,000 hours productively working on an activity in order to master it. This is roughly 10 years of your life, you see. So get down to earth and choose your pain. Accept that you will likely need life experience and lots of trial and error until you actually find something you're truly passionate about and a desire strong enough to make you endure through the long-term grinding. Number 2 would actually be that you're speaking from ego. If all you want is to feel like you're the best, you'll never achieve it. Think with me, if you want to be the best at something, you will have to neglect everything else in order to actually put in the time and effort. And when you master one craft, then you will suck or at least be average at everything else. And there's no way around this. Number 3, you're a blank page. You get to create anything. So being average means that you have an equal amount of talent and expertise for pretty much anything when starting. This guarantees you will always have to show up at your best, put in the work, understand the pains and intricacies of the craft. It will open you up for the process. It will humble you and expand all of your other facets at the same time. Being average implies that you can never doubt your accomplishments and merit because you'll never diminish your success by saying you were born with it. What we are born with is wit, drive, curiosity, some natural inclination for certain forms of self-expression. Genes decide your preferences, but the talent is you showing up. So my final thoughts on this would actually be that being average means you are willing to open doors and find what you're capable of. And paradoxically, when you accept that you will be average at most things you do in life, the burden of excellence and comparison lifts. You are now free to experiment and go after the things you used to deem impossible. Why? Because you now understand that the most successful people on earth are just average. They were just able to make that luck by putting in full dedication to strategize, work smart, and fulfill that desire of meaning. And bear in mind that sometimes the work is more so the effort you put in into finding what lights you up and what you're good at, more than the thing itself. And for you, rolling your eyes assuming I'm pushing the hustling mentality down your throat, hold on, because one thing that's pretty unavoidable about building the life you want, the big dream, the lifestyle, is you have to work for it. Initially hard and with no immediate reward. However, this does not mean the more you work, the more you get. So like me, you could feel maybe triggered by the wording here. So consider this. You might have been on the other side, the grinding student or worker who did not see good enough results or face atrocious consequences from it. And it's valid to absolutely despise this mentality. But like anything in life, balance makes all the difference. Most of us fail to work smart and end up choosing one side of the equation and completely erase the other. Either go full force and negate all your remaining needs or lie flat. And repeat the cycle going from one extreme to the other. Hellas, that's not how you get results. You just end up depleted and frustrated at the system when you were the one misinterpreting or misusing it. At the end of the day, it's okay to feel bitter and not be ready to get up yet, because truth is, if you are really an open-minded person, willing to stay curious and aware, you will end up finding your next call. You will be so bored and you start to feel that flame burning again, asking to be utilized. So this topic has generated some confusion because, just like I mentioned, we are creatures of growth and competition. It's perfectly normal to want more and finding a way to get it. It's not so good if you don't know what is contentment and you cannot find it in yourself to be completely at peace with what you already have. So it's also perfectly normal to feel jealousy or admiration for someone who has it better financially, in terms of status, in terms of career, whatever it is that you're focusing on. But it's not so good if you fail to acknowledge what you already have and, again, have accomplished and have achieved. I think this is where things gonna get tricky as like with so many social issues. I think the being average can be taken and teared apart in such different ways. On one hand, you can have a self-help book that says, oh no, you're grinding too hard, you're just putting in too much effort and you should rest, and it's not like the being versus the doing. You are a being, so you should be relaxing and enjoying every moment. And then at the same time, it's like, yeah, but why do we struggle with this? Why did we even start in the beginning, at the beginning of everything? It's because we are looking for something. We are looking to achieve something. Sometimes, and I think that's maybe the issue now that I'm realizing, it's that we just don't know what it is that we want. We don't know what is worth the pain. So we just go after what society, what experience, what past generations have kind of like discovered that are meaningful to them. And that's okay, because we need guidance, but we end up finding that that's maybe not our thing. So we put a lot of effort in school and in college and in your first job without really knowing why you're doing it. You just think like, okay, I just want to have good grades because it's being told that this is very advantageous in the future. So you go and do the best you can because you will at least have more possibilities. You can choose from a wider range of options, and that's all super helpful. It is helpful because in a certain way, it is true, it opens a lot of doors. But the truth is, we are actually just kind of going at it blindly. We don't know exactly what we want to do. We know that we want to do something. We know that we admire people. And so we know that someday we will probably be or want to be one of those people that someone else admires. Again, like, we don't have to be the best at something to succeed, and that's been said by so many people. The thing that I've just tried to explain with the being gifted, it's exactly that point. But at the same time, we will also suck at a lot of different things, and the perfect balance would be to understand this and to go after only the things that are meaningful to us. Maybe that certain hobby, that certain sport, or maybe that certain career, or maybe it's just like more creative work than anything else. And that's the struggle that I think is truly happening. Because as I was saying, when you go to a self-help aisle of the bookshop, and you find this type of book, at the same time you have across the room the book that says, no, you need to grind harder, how to make $1,000 or become a millionaire in a month or in a year. Everything that just seems so unattainable, but some people are there just saying, no, actually, you can do this, you can achieve this, you're just not working hard enough. And I think that's where just people get so confused, because yeah, maybe you're not working so hard enough because of so many reasons. Maybe one of them is that you don't actually want to, and that's okay. Some people were kind of born to be famous or to be billionaires, and some others just weren't. And if they were actually become millionaires or billionaires, they wouldn't be able to use it to enjoy it or to just take advantage and be happy with it. And this might seem crazy, but we are not all the same. We're different. We're so different, and we need to honor that. And I think that's when that happens. It's when we are able to like fight our fights. Because if there's something that's really annoying to me, it's when you see like those very not necessarily famous but very accomplished people coming on public platforms, and they say, after so many years of this and that, and achieved all of this and all of that, I realize my actual self-worth is not work. It's just being with family and enjoying my time. And at the same time, I have to stop myself and say like, okay, I truly appreciate your message, but you do realize that you come from a place that you've already done all the struggle. You've already done all the grinding, the path, that so many people have no idea what it's like. And so they too get to have that opportunity, that experience. They too I'm not going to say like have the opportunity to burn out, but the opportunity to know what it is to struggle for something that you really want, and you know it's worth it. And sometimes you're going to have to make very difficult choices in order to actually keep going for it. So it just seems very not naive, it just seems like it doesn't make any sense for them to come out and say that, because you need to be mindful of, one, who you are as a default personality, like what is your tendency, and two, who is the person that's talking, what's the background, what is the experience that the person already has that maybe I don't have. Because a lazy person will always feel comfort in the message of saying, you don't have to grind so hard. Life is about experience and traveling and living off the earth. Whatever floats your boat, that's okay. So, but at the same time, a person that's already grinding super hard, that's super determined, but it's just maybe feeling kind of lack of inspiration or motivation or just really, really tired, they will naturally fluctuate more towards the messages of grind harder and you need to be working 14 hours a day or 20 hours, I don't know. And that's where again, you need to be careful, like, who am I default likewise? Who am I? What are my tendencies? Because maybe if I'm a lazy person, I need to be listening more to the message that makes me feel uncomfortable, but at the same time has the most potential to make me grow. And if I'm the one that's already prone to stress, to be an overachiever, to go really hard and maybe to an extreme, I should be the one listening to the message of like, slow down, find your reason why first, maybe reevaluate, look around, appreciate more. So that's where I think the conclusion of all of this comes to. It's really to know that the word has to be defined. Being average is very relative, is very subjective. It depends on who's talking, depends on the what's the area of your life that you're talking about. And again, when you listen to the messages, they can both be super helpful. But you need to be the one discerning, what do I need to listen to? What am I in need of? Given the fact that I'm in the state of where I am, what do I actually want? What is in me that actually is like, oh my God, I really need that. I really want that, but I don't know how to. And that's where you go for help. And so anyways, these are the thoughts that basically can wrap up the message that I was trying to convey to you. Again, leave any comments or ideas or just thoughts on this episode, on the concept of being average, and maybe sometimes fighting it, sometimes embracing it. If you can do both, but just in different fields, in different areas of your life, in relationships and career, whatever it is. And I would love it for you to share that with me. And just thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me for another episode. And that's it for now. That's all I have for you. Until next time, this is Monica Martini signing out. Bye.
Is that